I'm going to be sewing the smaller curves of the half circle flower block today. And before I started, I just wanted to show you how it will all lay out and how I pin it before I sew the curve. So each half circle flower block has 4 of these petals, which is fabric A, and it has 4 of the flower accent pieces of fabric, which is template B. And it talks about it in the pattern. It'll tell you exactly how to do this, but half of your template B fabric will be right side up and B1, and half will be the opposite, which is wrong side up and B2. So for each flower, half circle flower block, you'll have 2 that are B1 and 2 that are B2. And I wanted to show you how to pin one of each or what they look like because they do look just slightly different. So I do like to pin before I sew my curves. I like to have that place where I can stop and adjust fabric and stay on track with my curve. So like with the other curves, we fold in half to find the center, corner to corner, finger press to crease it. Do the same to template B, except that instead of a sharp corner, you have this kind of point that it comes to. Finger press and crease. And then you'll place fabrics right side together and line up that crease mark. So you can see that this one just looks slightly different. All right, so then we go to pin these. And usually when I'm doing curves, I pin up this way. But with these curves, because they are a little bit smaller, I found that it's better to have the pin more out of the way. So I pin down. And then you line up this short straight side with the long straight side of template A. And pin. And it's important to keep this lined up as you sew around the curve. If this is kept lined up, your block will be more accurate when you're done. All right, and then the same thing over here. This short straight side will line up with the long straight side of template A. And you can pin this one or not. Sometimes it gets in my way when I go to the sewing machine, but it looks like that. So let's go sew. Okay, so this is one that I didn't pin, but you can see that I have this short straight side lined up with the long straight side of template A, and that's how I'm going to place it under the needle. So once I get it under the needle, I take just a few stitches before I start to line up my fabric, just to make sure that that is all lined up. And then I just move it until it lines up. You can kind of pull it gently towards you if it's not working. And as you sew, you're going to watch for those bunches under your needle. You're not going to worry so much about this extra fabric over here. Okay, so I'm starting to get a bunch here. It's not under my needle yet. So I'm just going to lift my foot. I'm going to move some of this out of the way and behind the needle, and then you can see it smooths out real nice right there. And then that pin gives me a spot to kind of stop and realign my fabric. This curve is smaller, so it's all the same tricks that you use on the larger curves, but it's just a little bit harder to adjust your fabric because there's less room for your fingers. But it's the same idea, and I think with practice, you'll be just fine. And again, you can always lift and move some of this. And then the important thing here is to keep that short straight side lined up with the long straight side as you come off the curve. I leave my pin into the very last minute, and with these I've found that kind of tugging this way away from the end of the curve and away from the needle, and again moving it back and behind has helped me keep everything lined up.